Welcome to the podcast. We are excited today to have Kurtis Lee Thomas with us. He is the founder of Breathwork Detox Modality, and he has been featured on the Today Show and was voted the #1 employee well-being provider of 2023. He is also the founder of the Just Breathe Foundation, which works with companies such as Nike and NASA, as well as he works with athletes and celebrity to spread awareness on mental health and really to help people overcome anxiety, trauma, stress, ADHD, and more through this breathwork modality. Many people actually, just after one session, 98% of people see major stress relief, improved focus, and deep relaxations with these methods, which is why Kurtis was named the 2024 Entrepreneur of the Year by the Best Holistic Life magazine. So without further ado, I'm going to send us over to the show, and you will get the chance to not only get to know Kurtis, but learn this amazing tool that is in your own body that you can use to help whatever side of the couple you're on, whether you're trying to heal after infidelity or you are trying to heal because you've been living outside of your value systems. This is a tool and a method that can be deeply helpful, and it's all within you. So without further ado, welcome to the show. I am really excited today for this episode. We have with us Kurtis Lee Thomas. And Kurtis, I feel very honored to have you here with us today and to be bringing this modality of breathwork. For those of us who have followed for a while and been to some of our intensives, we will provide breathwork opportunities at our intensive. But like you and I were talking before I hit record, we haven't talked about this on the podcast. And for a lot of people who have come to our intensives, they will come in saying, I don't know what breathwork is. I haven't really heard of it. In the field of mental health, we're seeing it pick up more and more, but so many people out there just don't know about it. So for you to come in as an expert in breathwork, to be passionate about it, first of all, just thank you for coming and sharing your wisdom with us. And I am excited just to even get to know you a little bit. So do you mind starting and just talking a little bit about you and even just what makes you so in love with this work?
Yes, of course. So I pretty much was like a serial entrepreneur. I'm the type of person that had all these things going on all the time. And then I had my quote unquote spiritual awakening. And I was like, I want to be a life coach. So, like everybody else, first thing I do is go out and get that piece of paper. And from there, I led to be a NLP practitioner, a hypnotherapist practice I had with my mother, became a Reiki master, sports science fitness professional, breathwork master, pretty much collecting certifications along the way to kind of see where my jam was at. And that's eventually where I discovered Breathwork Detox.
So when you say breathwork detox, tell me about how the breathwork detox actually works, what it is.
So let's go back to what you said about people don't really know what breathwork is, right? So first of all, breathwork is an umbrella term. So very much like yoga. There's many different forms of yoga, hot yoga, yin yoga. So breathwork is no different. There's all types of different breathing techniques. And when most people think about breathing, it's like in through the nose, out through the mouth, which 99.9% of the time we should be breathing through our nose. However, with breathwork detox, it's done in through the mouth and out through the mouth. So the reason why it's done through the mouth is because the mouth is like a energetic exodus, right? It's a portal. So what breathwork detox is, it's almost mimicking the sigh. If you take the body's natural way, it relieves stress, tension, and pain from the body. Like I was sitting here, and if it was pinting up, the first thing my body would do is go, let out a big sigh of relief. And that's how the body naturally releases that pent up stress and energy. And when you induce this particular technique for a very specific amount of time, you just don't peel back the layers of stress. You start peeling back the layers of suppressed stress, trauma, and all these other emotions that can come up. So by far, this particular deep diaphragmatic breathing technique is the most somatic and cathartic practice that's out there.
For somebody who has had a lot of trauma in their life or is going through active trauma, how do you see this particular modality help them?
Yeah, so for my personal journey, I didn't realize how powerful breathing was until I realized how powerful breathing was. And for me, I actually developed a mysterious stomach condition where it felt like a mixture of pain and 1,000 ants crawling in my stomach. And for 5 years, I suffered, went to the best doctors. They couldn't even diagnose me, never mind heal me. And I was trying everything under the sun. I went to the jungles of Peru, deep into the Amazon rainforest. I did plant medicine with the Shipibo tribe, tried so many different things. And when I found this breathing technique, reluctantly and desperately, I tried it. And to my surprise, in one single session, my stomach condition was eradicated. And for me, I'm a very analytical, logical, skeptical person where I need to understand why. I got to understand the science. So I could have wrapped my head around how this silly little breathing technique did what the best doctors from LA to New York couldn't do. And then it hit me. The reason why these doctors couldn't tell me what was wrong with me is because my issue wasn't physical. It was energetic. It was emotional. And I didn't know what I was carrying until I released it. That's the irony behind it. We don't really know the weight of the baggage and what we're carrying until we do release it. Then we feel lighter, we feel more buoyant. And that's the thing with trauma. Trauma, I look at it like this, like the soul always wants to be present, right? The mind tends to always want to think in the future, but the body holds on to the past. The body is a living library for all of our experiences. And that's why they say the body keeps score, or the issues are in the tissues. And it really starts from childhood because when we're children, we don't have the emotional intelligence to process certain emotions. And our trauma back then might be different than what it is now. Maybe getting pushed off the swing or not picked for volleyball. That's traumatic for a kid. And we don't have that emotional intelligence, so we store it in the body. And the problem is life keeps life in, and these issues compound. And now you throw in love and heartbreak and business failures and being stuck in a 9-to-5 and feel like you're committing spiritual suicide. And it just compounds into the body. And this is why people have these random aches and pains in the body. They don't know why, is because when we have stored trauma in the body, it wreaks havoc on our nervous system.
Oh, it does. And the amount of clients who like I literally wrote on my piece of paper where I take notes, mysterious medical condition, and did a huge circle because the amount of clients who have these medical conditions that they can't find answers for. They can't pinpoint what is happening. I would say more often than not, I'm seeing this. And so as you're talking about this and talking about the releasing it, what I'm hearing you say is they don't have to actually know, hey, this one thing happened to me in childhood or this happened. They don't need to know or have a exact reason of what's happening to actually be able to release it.
Yeah, I'd say majority of the time, the answer is no. The body will just, it wants to release. The body knows what to do. It is the most biomechanical machine, most sophisticated on the planet is our body. And it wants to let go. It wants to do these things, but the mind gets in the way. And I could never wrap my head around, okay, why do we hold on to things that we know aren't good for us? Doesn't make sense. And if you know it's not good for you, you know it's heavy, but you're still holding on to it. It's not because you know it's not good for you. It's because what happens is with this trauma, the trauma connects to our belief systems and to sometimes our identity. So when it's time to release that experience or release that situation, we subconsciously believe we're also releasing a piece of our identity and losing a part of ourselves. And that's very scary. And it's attached to some belief system, and we haven't developed a new healthy belief system to fill that void. So yeah, it's like, I get it. We're just taught to consume. We're like very conscious consumers, but we just haven't learned to let go.
I love that. What would you say to somebody? Because I'm thinking with our clients, I'm thinking of the person who's going, I'm so hurt. I'm looking for healing. But then I'm also thinking on the other side of this person who's lived outside of their value system, sometimes for a season, sometimes for much of their adult life. And I'm hearing so much value and benefit for both sides of this couple. But I also see like a resistance or a fear of doing this type of work. What would you say to someone who like, okay, I hear you. It sounds good. And I'm not going to lie, like it kind of scares the crap out of me.
That's the thing I notice, and I kind of chuckle about myself because there's so many people that know what I do, breath work, whether it's a breath work event, and they're petrified to come and breathe.
Yeah.
And if you just
Yeah.
think about that, it's like, no, you're not afraid of breathing because you do it all the time. You're afraid to let go. You're afraid to exactly what I just explained. And we don't realize it, but that is the deeper fear. And sometimes you have to feel it to heal it. The
Mhm.
majority of time you actually don't. It can bypass the conscious mind and you can release trauma that you had and not have to relive it. It's not necessarily most of the time. It's just stuck in the body, and the breath just gives it that movement because the breath is connected to all 72,000 of our energy channels. And, emotions is energy in motion. And when that motion gets stuck, you feel stuck. And if the energy is not flowing, then we'll call it stress. So I just think it's like a re-education of not just getting rid of Western medicine and philosophies, because I'm not that guy. If I get a cavity, give me the Novocaine. Oh, but it's the merging of those two worlds. And I think it's happening because Harvard put out a study showing that 80% of all doctor's visits are stress related.
Wow.
Now, that is a humongous
Huge.
number. And, if you think about the pharmaceutical industry, it's a $1.6 trillion industry. And if 80% of those doctor's visits are stress related, we should be going for the root cause, right? Like it's not just about mowing the lawn or taking the pill because those weeds pop back up. It's about ripping the weeds out from the root. And yes, stress is it, but underneath the stress is those crappy belief systems, the things we haven't learned to let go of. And I think ultimately that's what people are afraid of. They're afraid to let go. And that's not even the tough part. It's like the saying, we fear the unknown.
Mm.
And I don't even think we fear the unknown, if I'm being honest. I think we fear what we think we know. Because a baby that was born in hell wouldn't know that it was born in hell. It just would go on and, about its life. It's the constructs and the belief systems that we put in our mind is what creates these big, scary walls.
We're going to take a really fast break and tell you about some of the things coming up at Choose.
Hi, this is Hallie Roderick, and I want to personally invite you to join me and our team for the upcoming Courage to Thrive Intensive happening October 14th through the 17th in beautiful Spanish Fork, Utah. This 4-day experience is designed specifically for women who have experienced betrayal and are ready to take the next courageous steps on their healing journey. Whether you're just beginning to process the pain or you've been navigating this journey for years, this intensive will give you practical tools, supportive guidance, and somatic practices to help you reconnect with your body, set healthy boundaries, and reclaim control over your life. By the end of our time together, you'll leave with a renewed sense of hope, strength, and purpose, ready to step forward with courage and confidence, knowing betrayal no longer defines your life. If you feel called to take this next step, please check the show notes for all the details. I would love to welcome you to this upcoming transformative experience.
Okay, and now back to the episode. I love what you just said there, and that letting go made me think about myself with breath work. And this, like, I don't want to admit this, but I have helped support the person who's running the breath course, but I have yet to do it myself. And the reason is, and it could be a fear of letting go, but I think it's a little worse for me, is there is a control factor. There is a part of me that wants to be very in control. And so there is a fear of somebody else controlling my breathing. And I like my oxygen. And so it, like, even saying that out loud, it sounds a little ridiculous. But as I'm listening to you, I'm realizing that, yes, there is a fear for me of like letting go control. And it is a letting go, it is a releasing. And just all the work that I've done in my own life, there is still this wanting to hold on to control of something that doesn't actually need to be controlled. It's a false sense of control. So I love what you're saying there. And the words just surrendering is coming to mind. And what, like the power of learning how to surrender.
Yeah, I was just about to say that word because people are letting go of all different types of things. It's different for everybody. And for you, voluntarily admitting the thing you would be letting go of would be the illusion of control.
Illusion of it.
And what that comes down to is surrendering. And I realized the people who have the best breathwork experiences that I've noticed, like the biggest breakthroughs, are actually the ones who are afraid to give up that quote, air quote, control. And the moment they decide to fully surrender to the experience and release whatever is no longer serving their highest and greatest good, that's when I see the biggest breakthroughs.
I love that. And I think that gives so much hope. I'll say to me, but so much hope to those who are listening to this, who are even somewhat on the fence of, do I lean into this or do I not? I'll put in the show notes if anyone wants to be able to look you up and see what you do. When it comes to doing breath work through this modality, the breathwork detox versus other breath work, what would you say is just the advantage of going this road versus just getting on the internet and just Googling, hey, who's around me who does breath work? Why would you say this is probably or could be a helpful road?
Yeah, I mean, my goal when I started this podcast circuit was never to convert people into my modality. It was to share the power of breath work and what it can do, considering I spent all this time over the past decade acquiring these skill sets and going through my own healing traumas and realizing that, wow, this modality is the only thing that did it for me. But my purpose on these podcasts is to simply get people curious. If they just get curious and go on the internet and start researching, then that's a W for me. Now, it all comes down to the results they want to achieve. They just want to just relax a little bit and go online and look up some breathing techniques. Great, you got interested in breath work. We did a great job. But breathwork detox is a very specific breathing modality that specializes in cathartic releases. It's called the detox. And even the reason why I called that is because we talked about consciously consuming. Everybody wants to manifest a better lover, a better job, and all these things we want. But before we can let in, we first need to let go.
Yeah.
And for this particular deep diaphragmatic breathing technique, it's all about releasing. It's all about letting go. And there's not another powerful breathing modality that allows you to do this. So it really comes down to what you're looking to achieve. And the reason why I love people when they start off with breathwork detox is because we do live in a microwave society, right? Where people want to see results and they want to see results fast. And most of the time that's unattainable. Like you just don't go to the gym and then the next morning you wake up with a six pack, right? It doesn't work that way. You have to see those results over time. But unlike, let's say, other mindfulness modalities like yoga and meditation, the results of breathwork detox are immediate and undeniable from just one single session. And once people taste the Kool-Aid and we're like, wow, I didn't know my breath had that ability. And then they venture into other modalities, which I call those maintenance.
That's beautiful. And this energy you have around healing, I'll just say, in my experience, when we come to the world and we have that energy of just, I want to share this gift. This has blessed me. I want to give it out. It just ripples out in ways that it's really different than, hey, come to me. I have your answer. What you just said was so beautiful. And I think really will resonate with people is this message of this has helped me. And I want to share that so that you can find some of your answers in your own healing. And again, I'll just reinforce our body really does hold and store not only major traumas, but all of these other stresses and the way that the brain in a web just connects trauma to other experiences, that there is so much to release for every single human walking on this planet. And so that's just such a beautiful message. And any final thoughts or information or messages you want to give before we wrap up?
The first thing that I talk about is that curiosity, right? Because curiosity didn't kill the cat, ignorance did. So I think what I've noticed, whatever somebody's dealing with, the breath has this amazing way of giving you exactly what you need when you need it. It's no cookie cutter, like if you do the breathing technique, then just this is going to happen. I've witnessed many, what some would call miracles with breath work, healing from things they were told they would never heal from. The reason why I do it is clarity. It induces this profound amount of clarity that happens in the brain. And I believe confusion is temporary insanity, right? It really sucks when you don't know what decision to make or what path to go or stay in this job or stay in this relationship. When you start this technique, something happens in the brain called transient hypofrontality, which is a fancy way, a word for flow state. So the prefrontal cortex of the brain quiets down, and that's like the monkey mind, the executive decision maker that's always on. I call it the self-saboteur sometimes. And all of a sudden, when that monkey mind goes quiet, you can see the answers to all your questions and see it in real time and connect the dots. So that level of clarity that you get from it alone could be healing, because the biggest thing I learned about healing is that people say healing happens with time, and that's just not true. You can heal in the snap of a finger, in the twinkling of an eye, if you find a way to shift your perception and your perspective on what occurred. And that's the beauty, is that that clarity can give you different perceptions of life, which is really everything, because what happens over time, people say we evolve over time, but really we get old and we die over time. But what happens over time that causes that is that we have more experiences in life. We extrapolate more wisdom, and then we're able to see things from a different perspective. And that's what allows us to move on. So that can happen all within a breathwork session. So it's miraculous what this can do for people. And it's just going to give you whatever you need on your journey at this time.
It's beautiful. What you need on your journey at this time. Such a beautiful message. And your energy, I love meeting people, and you instantly can feel different people's energy, and your energy is just, it's really clear you've done a lot of your own work. It's just a very calming, peaceful, just a beautiful energy. So thank you for sharing of yourself and your energy, especially with our listeners today. There's such a need for hope. And there's such a need for direction and the word that you used of clarity. There are so many individuals looking for even an ounce of clarity right now. And hearing and learning that power and that wisdom lies within them and helping them find a way to access that is just a gift. So, thank you for our listeners. Go check out the show notes. Though you're not trying to necessarily self promote, I have no problem shamelessly promoting you. So go to the show notes, check out Kurtis. You can get a link to his website and what he does if you want to learn more. And for those of you hanging out with us today, as always, thank you for being with us. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. We are so glad you could join the show today. I just wanted to give you a quick heads up that Kurtis is offering for all of our guests a discount of 50% off one of his courses. That code is podcast50. You can get that in the show notes. And so thank you, Kurtis, for that generosity. And then also, I just want to do a quick plug for the Betrayal Trauma Intensive in October. For those of you who are healing from betrayal, who want to know, how do I heal it and move forward from this and not have this define me and not have this be the rest of my life, you can join us at that intensive, as well as you'll learn about why the person who has done this does what they do. Help understand and get into their mind. So not only are you going to get your own healing, but you're going to get more clarity and understanding. And so join us for Courage to Thrive in October. You can access all of that information on chooserecoveryservices.com. Thank you all. And again, we'll see you next week.
Hey, ladies, I want to tell you about something that could be the next step in your healing journey. It's my group coaching program, Believing in You. And it was created for women like you who've been through betrayal, abuse, or deep relationship pain and are ready to reconnect with yourself again. Believe in you again. Because when your world is shattered, it's not just the relationship that breaks, it's your belief in your own worth, your voice, your intuition, your future. And I get it. I live that. That's why I created a space where you don't have to figure it out alone. Each week, I coach you live, teaching tools, concepts, worksheets galore to help you really become more aware of what your old beliefs are and helping you shift into new beliefs. Teaching tools that actually support your nervous system healing and help you shift the beliefs that are keeping you stuck. You'll also get resources between sessions and be surrounded by a community of women who totally understand. It isn't about whether you're staying or leaving. It's about you choosing and learning to believe that you can trust yourself. You can heal, you can love, you can create something beautiful on the other side of this, no matter what the other person in the relationship does. You get a free 7-day trial. So come feel it out. If you've been doing this work and you're ready to take it deeper, or maybe you're just starting and you want a safe, supportive place to land, this is for you. Apply today and let's believe in you again.